Hello everyone. So today I am super excited about the layout that I'm going to do. I have been hoarding all of my Simple Vintage Simple Stories kits, and last night while cleaning my craft closet, my daughter was helping me out and she happened upon some old photographs that I had separated out and by kid. We have 4 children. My daughter is the youngest, and she was going through all of these folders that I had where I had separated out all of these pictures by kid that I wanted to scrap at some point. And this picture of my son when I don't even know how old he was. I know we were in Florida. He looks elementary school age, not quite sure what age. We were at the beach in Florida and I saw this and I was like, I need to break out my Simple Vintage Coastal. And like, look at this color match, guys. This is like perfection right here. So I am going to scrap this photo of my son on the beach in Florida. And I am finally going to dive into using the Simple Vintage Coastal. I got a big pack of this from, I believe it was Simple Stories when they had some kits for sale. I believe I got it straight from them a month or two ago. I think about a month ago. And I'm super excited to use these. I am hoarding these, so I guess this is going to count probably toward the challenge that Scraptember was giving us, something you hoard. My Simple Vintage kits are definitely something I hoard, along with my 49 in Market, which I don't know if y'all do this, but I struggle so hard to use my 49 in Market Spectrum Sherbet, not because I don't have a ton of stuff, but because I don't want to use it. It's so beautiful. I struggle. I don't want to make like a not great layout using these papers. I want it to be perfect. And so I struggle to use them because of that. So I'm challenging myself to use up some of that. So you'll see some of that coming pretty soon. Some of that 49 in Market Spectrum Sherbet, because guys, I have to allow myself to use it. This Simple Vintage stuff is kind of the same way. I have had this Simple Vintage Lemon Twist for a long time. I've made a couple of layouts with it. I really have, and I'm proud of myself for that. But I'm hoarding the rest of it because I don't want it to be gone. It sounds so crazy, but these are among my favorite kits. So today I am going to use some of this Simple Vintage Coastal. I have a couple of sheets picked out that I want to use. This one here, while it's kind of plain, it matched so perfectly with this photo. And I'm going to go ahead with probably no photo mat, at least on the top, just to kind of make it look like it blends into the background. I've pulled pieces out already, ones that I kind of wanted to use because I have so much of this. I didn't think you wanted to sit there and watch me sort through everything. So I've taken some embellishments from the pack of floral bits here. It's got a bunch of really awesome foliage and flowers and stuff in there. So I've taken stuff from that. I have taken a few things from the Bits and Pieces pack. This has got a bunch of wonderful things in there too. I also got these simple page pieces, and as you can see, I took everything except this little chair. This little chair I'll use on something else because I have a few more in the Bits and Pieces, so I can make a little scene with that. But today the chair is not making it in, but it had all of this stuff, so I'm gonna probably use that. I've got that set aside. I've taken one little thing out of the chipboard, but I may pull more out. This one I'm gonna save kind of till the end, and I'm going to probably pull some more out of that. I also have the sticker sheet, which I'm sure I will pull something here and there out of this one too. So, but I do have kind of the main pieces pulled out that I want to use here. With the paper, like I said, I have this beautiful watercolor looking background with a little bit of writing here. This is paper number 12705, and it's called See You Soon, SEA. The back is pretty too. I love this print on the back, and I was looking for this print and wanting to use some of it, but here I went and I am using this part. So I guess I'm not going to have much of that print. And then I also have this one here, and this one is called Sandy Toes. Excuse me. I think I like the idea of using this as a border piece, and then also maybe using a bit on the page as well. The back of this one is so pretty. It's got these different like pieces that you could cut out if you wanted to use the different parts of that. So this is kind of my plan. And so I'm gonna go ahead and mat this, and then we'll come back and we'll see what we want to do. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. All right, so I went ahead and I matted the one sheet on top of the one I had chosen for a mat. And then I decided I wanted to go ahead and put just a little bit of that matte paper on the front of the layout. So here I just took a thin strip. I had already cut it out because I kind of figured out how much I wanted there, and I just want something to kind of anchor the photo. And so I'm just distressing the edges of this. I wanted a really distressed look on it because I guess I'm thinking about like things that you would find on the beach, like beech wood and all of that. And all of that stuff is very kind of, I guess I would say distressed when you find it on the shore. So I really wanted everything on this layout to be like a little bit more than it needs to be distressed, like more than I would normally do. I do tend to be a little bit more heavy-handed anyway with distressing, but I wanted even more so than I would normally do here so that we could kind of get that more beached and weathered look that I wanted here. So I just wanted something, like I said, to anchor the photo and the embellishments that I am going to put on the page. So I decided to put just a little bit of that background paper, the matte paper up there on the bottom too. So the pieces that I'm looking at and distressing right now, they came from like that title set that I showed you guys that I'd used almost every piece from except for the little chair. So I decided that I wanted that one kind of embellishment strip down there on the bottom, and then I'm going to use the title Escape that you see sitting off to the side there. Right now I was just kind of marking off where I'm going to set my picture, and I'm using a stencil that I got with my Not Just for Boys kit. It's kind of got these little diamond shapes there, and I'm using some Nouveau drops. I really wanted to use the regular Nouveau drops that I have. This one's a metallic one, and so it's really shimmery and shiny when you get it down and when it dries. It's just such a pretty color. I couldn't see it right there when I held it up, and I am filming this a couple days later. So I don't remember exactly what color that was that I used, but you should be able to see it on the video there because I held it up to the camera for a second. At this point, I'm just kind of playing around with that. I didn't want it to look so perfect. It just looked a little too straight. So I kind of smudged a few of the edges. Once I get my embellishments on here, you won't even really be able to tell that I did that. I just didn't want it looking so symmetrical as it kind of looked before. I was trying as I put the mixed media on to not make it symmetrical, but it still kind of seemed to look boxy. The one there on the right hand side turned out a little bit better, a little bit more of idea of how I wanted it. And then I'm just going to add a little bit down here on the bottom right as well. That kind of goes under that little, I guess I'll call it a shelf. So what I'm doing here is I decided I wanted to add a little bit more of the Nouveau onto the background to kind of mimic the way that the sun reflects off from the water. When you're out at the beach, you know, when it's a sunny day, it's very sparkly and shiny out there when you're on the water. So I decided I kind of wanted the background to look like that. So when the page is, depending on the angle of the pages, it'll catch a glimmer here and there. And I kind of did it mostly just around the area where all the embellishments in the picture, which is most of the page by the time I got done. But I really like how it turned out. I like how shimmery and shiny it is. And you can see I'm just kind of rubbing it in circles on the page to kind of mimic that water. So I can see that it's glaring a lot more on the camera than it really looks in person. It doesn't shine quite that much in person, but you just get little hints of it here and there, and it's really sparkly and pretty. I'm really happy that I did that. It was just something that came to me last minute to just kind of swirl that around on the back of the page, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So I am just going to glue this photo down just flat, no mats on this photo whatsoever, because I kind of want it to look a little bit like it's blending into the background, and like that whole background is water. In person, like I said, it blends a little bit better because my overhead lights are kind of accentuating that glimmer a little bit more than it does in person. But it really does blend nicely. Here I'm just getting rid of that excess white in the center of the letters. I don't make you watch it all. I just didn't want, those big patches of white, but I did keep the white border around the word escape. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and fit everything down kind of where I want it to be. I will glue everything down. I think I do it off camera so you don't have to watch me glue it all down afterward. Oh, I lied there. I glued that down, but it was real quick. So you don't have to watch me place everything, remove it, and then place it again and distress everything. I do distress every single piece on this layout as well, just so it kind of has that roughed up beach look to it. These are all pieces. The two foliage pieces, that little flamingo, and these, I guess they're flowers. I don't know if they're hibiscus or not. I can't tell from looking at my camera screen, and I can't remember. But those pieces came from that title kit with the title escape. The little signs there came from the chipboard. That little tag up at the top, little label at the top, and the bird and the lizard and the flowers all came from like the bits and pieces from the Simple Vintage Coastal set. And I don't know if I placed, okay, so down on the bottom I'm placing the boat piece of ephemera on top of the boat that is there, and I'm going to raise that up to give it a little dimension. That shell and the starfish and these little birds all came from the ephemera kit as well. So this is pretty much where everything is going to go. Oh, I'm putting these cute little oars down here. I loved these oars. I've got another set of them in the ephemera kit too, so I get to use them another time on another layout. So I'm super jazzed about that. Something kind of happened when I was editing where I think I accidentally deleted something wrong, and so you are kind of seeing me put down a little bit, but I don't think you have to watch too much of me putting all this stuff back down, because I don't know, guys, I kind of just messed up when I was editing. I was really tired, and so you can see me kind of popping up each of these little elements here, and I did that at least in some way with every single piece of ephemera on this page. I wanted there just to be dimension and texture everywhere on this piece. So on every piece of ephemera, I sometimes will pop up just the edges of it and glue down the center so that it's, only popped up on those ends. And then, at some pieces of the ephemera end up being flat there. I think I have those things all glued down now, at least all there on the left hand side. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, I was tired and I don't know what was going on with my editing there, but I believe everything is glued down. So now I am working my way through and looking at that chipboard to see if there's anything else that I can add. I like that banner there that says the beach life, and it does stay up there. I kind of move it around a bit and try out a few different things, but that banner is going to end up being right there. I had another word bit that I was trying to fit up there, and I took it away because I just wasn't quite sure what I wanted. And so now here's another little piece. I can't read it on my screen because my screen's too tiny, but I do end up finding a place for it right down here underneath the title. I think it looks really cute down there. Like I said, I removed that and move it several times, that banner, but now I'm going to stick it down so that it is not going anywhere anymore. He's going to be right up there, right along the edge of my photo and that little label that I put up on the top there. It kind of slides right underneath the edge of the flower and that little lizard guy, who I think is so stinking adorable. I loved that little lizard. I am grabbing a few canvas flair from my Scrap and Happy Studio collection. You can see them. I pulled out a few sets, and I wanted to use some of the more colorful ones, but they were just a little bit big. So I pulled out these smaller flair, and I do end up using 3, but I'm going to play around here with the third one because I just could not decide where I wanted to put it. I move it here, there, and everywhere, and I might have cut some of that out, but I played around with it forever. It does not stay where I have it, but it does make it back onto the layout at the end. You can see now that I have removed it. I'm looking at the sticker sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and take one of these tickets. So this is kind of the bad thing about this layout, is I was so excited and knew exactly how I wanted all of those little ephemera pieces to sit that I kind of forgot that I had the stickers that I wanted to add to. So I stuck everything down and then decided I wanted a sticker back there. So I did kind of tear a little bit of the background paper, but you'll never see it because it's back there behind the little bird and no one will be able to tell. I do use that sticker there, and here's another like word phrase, but I think I was trying that one out again up there just to see how I liked it, but I am going to end up putting it down below the title, just like I said I was going to put it. And I'm looking again. Like I said, it's been a couple of days, and I don't know why, but I never quite felt done with this layout. I just wanted to add everything to it. So you'll see me go back a couple of times just looking through those chipboard pieces, looking at the sticker book. What else can I put on here? What else can I put on here? And I just always kept feeling like I wanted to add something else somewhere else. There's just so much good stuff in this collection that I just want every single bit of it. But I have so much paper left that I can't use all of it right now. I have plenty to use on everything else because I didn't use it all right now. There, I'm going to put one more little chipboard phrase right there. It's in like this script font, which I think is really pretty, sitting there on those flowers. Again, it's too small on my phone, so I can't read it right here to see what it says, but y'all will be able to see it on the screen. So now I am going to add some enamel dots. I used, it's hard to see on the camera, but they actually are 2 different colors. One is like kind of like this aqua blue color, and the other one has more of a greenish tint to it. So it really blends in really nicely with that background. I just wanted to add just a little bit more texture to the background and a little bit more dimension there. So I really didn't want them to stand out a lot, which is why I made them very, very matchy to the background piece, to the background. And then I'm going to put another set of 3 up at the top, yep, right about here. And then I am done with those enamel dots. I just really love how this page turned out. I love the colors. I love how there's that aqua blue, and then we've got that deep green and those beautiful soft pinks. It just all works so perfectly and pretty together. It's such a stunning set. Again, I am just doing a little bit more distressing. I'm ripping the paper and folding it down just a bit so I can see a bit of that, what looks kind of like a newsprint print down there on the back side of that blue paper. And I love what these little tears do to it. I know sometimes people get kind of afraid to make these tears, like, what if I don't like it? Well, you know, you won't know until you try it, and usually they turn out looking pretty cool. All right, so for the end part here, I am going to add some of these clear Nuvo drops. I think it's called Morning Dew. I believe that's what it said. And I put quite a few of these all over to kind of look like just droplets of water that have landed all over all of the ephemera pieces. I started off just doing it on the flowers and the leaves, and then I will, as you see, I will go and put it on pretty much everything. I'm not sure I put it on the birds, but the seashells got it. The title is getting some of it because, you know, everything that was surrounding that picture of my son, I wanted to look like it was being splashed, as you know, because it is by the ocean. And I really like how this turned out too. It was kind of a last minute idea, and I think it really adds to the page. It's hard to see on camera, but you'll be able to see in the close-ups in just a minute. I think this is the last thing that I do on camera, add these Nouveau drops. But, and I'm going to show you close-ups in just a moment of everything that I did. But when I got off camera, I had an idea to add some mesh to make it look kind of like, you know, fishing net. Here's the close-ups here. And so you don't see that here, but in the close-ups that I show you, the pictures, you're going to see that I added some mesh to each of the clusters. Look at all that shimmer in the background. That Nouveau drop, those Nouveau drops are just so beautiful. Here you go. Here's the picture, and you can see the mesh that I added just a little bit in each one of those clusters. I hope you guys enjoyed this layout and that you saw something today that inspired you. If you like what you see, please go ahead and hit subscribe so you can be notified of new videos. And thanks to y'all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.